Hey everybody, I'm Mark with Spanish Fork Recreation, and I am doing this video in order to get the coaches meeting that we would normally have in person out to everybody. The reason I want to do this is so that when we're ready to start softball, there's no delay. We will send out a schedule, we will make sure everybody is aware of it, and then we will just jump right into it. There's going to be a lot of information in this meeting, so I really need you to watch the whole thing. And you need to make your players aware of the things that we're doing in order to make it so we can play. If you or your teams choose not to follow the directions that we're giving, what's going to happen is the city is going to cancel softball. So it's really important that you, again, watch this video, make your players and your teammates aware of what we're doing going forward, and please follow the direction that we're giving. I've got Brian Dinkelman, as usual, with me for my coaches meeting. He's the NSA State Director. And he's just going to jump in here with whatever he has to say or whatever direction he's gotten from NSA. We do have a few things that NSA has asked us to do, but it coincides with some of the things that we've come up with.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there is going to be a waiver from NSA that the cities will have. It will also be on the Play NSA website. All players must sign. If you do not sign the waiver, you will not be allowed to play. Okay, this is on top of Mark's waiver for the city. This is a waiver allowing you to play in this crazy time that we have. Okay, so we will have access to it. Make sure everybody plays. If you bring out a player that is, one of the 50 people on your roster and it's the first time he's playing, make sure he has a waiver signed when he comes to the park. If he doesn't, he will be asked to leave. If starts the game while playing, we might have to forfeit games. We don't want to do that. That's not what we're here for. We want you to play, but we do need every player. Again, every player signs the waiver.
What we'll do to make it easier is we'll put the waiver on the website where we keep our schedules on the website. You can just go and download it, sign it, and bring it. I'll also have copies of the waiver down at the ballpark. We'll get you to sign it before you play, and that'll satisfy that, and then I'll get them turned over to Brian. We'll make it as easy as possible for you to sign those waivers. If you do have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to talk to me about, I know we always get a lot of questions in these meetings, please feel free to call me. At the end of this video, I'll give you my email and my phone number for my office, and I will, hopefully we'll start in a couple weeks, and I'll be down at the ball fields at least the first week for the first little while. Feel free to stop me, and if you have any suggestions, any concerns, anything I can do to alleviate your concerns, I'm happy to answer those. It would be best to contact me before we start in order to take care of some of the concerns you might have. But again, anytime during the season, I'm always available, and I'm always happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Same goes for me too. We'll put my phone number and email on, as always, at the meetings. We give that out. Questions, concern, comments. I always have my cell phone on with me. Mark and I try to do a great job of staying in contact so we can get back playing ball. We miss it as much as you guys do. Trust us, this isn't fun for any of us. But with what we're going to put out today, if we all stay on board, we'll be able to play. Otherwise, like he says, we can go ahead and be like other cities and just cancel till fall ball. And I don't think any of us want that. So.
Okay. So here's the plan. Hopefully we're going to get some direction. Well, I know we're going to get some direction on Friday. What is this Friday? The 15th from the governor. I don't know what he's going to say. More than likely, we're going to still stay in the orange status. As long as we're in orange status, we cannot play any team sports. They won't let us. The city will follow the governor's directions despite what people may think or believe is really going on out there. So as long as we're in orange status, we will follow the governor's directions, and there will not be any games. Once we move to yellow status, we are allowed to play team sports. That doesn't mean everything's open and free and easy. What it means is there are some requirements that we will have to take. There are requirements you will have to take in order for us to be in compliance to play team sports. So we're just going to go over a few of those things. But I'm going to do league rules, and we're going to throw this stuff in there as we go. Okay, starting at the top. You guys know we're using NSA, okay? We love NSA. They've been great with us for a few years. Brian does a fantastic job. He gets the umpires for us. I'd really appreciate it again, same as every year, is if you would treat our umpires with respect and show them the respect they deserve for doing a very difficult job. This year it's going to be different. I don't know what we're going to do. Your umpires are probably going to be in masks. They're probably going to have gloves on. We might change a few things the way we work with what the umpires are touching. I can tell you right now that I don't want them touching your bats, okay? They might kick a bat out of the way, but they're not going to be allowed to touch your bats, okay? They won't be allowed to pick them up. They're not going to be allowed to do anything to them. But if they give them a good kick just to get them out of the way if there's a play at home, please forgive them of that because they're just trying to do their best to keep you safe during that. We will be using a mat again this year. It worked out fantastic last year. So again, a mat behind the plate. If it hits the mat and it's within that height distance of, what is it, Brian? 6 feet?
6 feet to 10 feet, it hits the mat, any part of the mat, it will be a strike.
The plate will not be a strike. We will not be using the plate as a strike. If it hits the plate, it's a ball. If it hits partial plate and partial mat, again, umpire's discretion, that's probably going to be a strike, okay? So please don't argue with the umpires on that. And it's pretty clear when it does hit the mat, though. It makes a pretty definitive sound. So we're going to be using NSA for that. We'll be using 3 balls and 2 strikes. On the schedule, when you get the schedule, the first team listed will be home team. Okay, we'll use a 12-inch ball for men's, 11-inch ball for women's. We're still going to stick with the 3 home runs per game. Anything over 3 home runs per game will be an out. Okay, I would ask, especially at this time, that if you hit a home run, you chase those balls. It's really important that we get those softball back, especially during this time of year, because what we want to do is we don't want balls jumping from field to field. So if somebody hits a foul ball, or somebody hits a home run, I really need you guys to jump on that and get those balls, okay? We need those balls back, okay? There's a must-slide rule at all bases except for first base. That's umpire's discretion. What I would tell you is slide or get out of the way, okay? It's as simple as that. If you don't want to slide, get out of the way. Trying to go around the umpire and dip your foot in, or the umpire, the player, and dip your foot in on the base or on home, whatever it is, if you make contact with that player as an umpire, I'd probably call you out. So you either slide or you get out of the way. Don't try to jump around him or anything like that. We're still going to do 55-minute time limit or 7 innings, whichever comes first. Well, we will have our run rule. We're going to go 20 after 3 innings, so 20 runs after 3, 15 after 4, 10 after 5. There is no flip-flop rule. Some people don't like that I don't do a flip-flop rule, but my feeling is you pay your money, whether you're getting killed or not. You should get a play at least through to the mercy rule. Okay, so no flip-flopping. Okay, any extra inning games this year will be governed by international tiebreaker. I am going to leave this open a little bit and say I might change that. What we want to do is we want to get the teams in and out of the complex as fast as possible. So if we do have teams go extra innings, likely, again, this will be fluid as we're moving throughout the season, but likely we'll do 1 inning of international tiebreaker. If at the end of that inning you're still tied, we're going to call that game a tie, and we're just going to leave it at that, okay? Okay, guys, one thing I do want you to be aware of with our 55-minute time limit, that puts us up against that hour where I'm going to try and schedule games. Maybe I'm going to try and schedule them 1 hour or 5 apart. I would ask that you please move on and off the field quickly. If you're only there for 1 game, get your things, clean up the dugout, get out of the dugout and leave the park. Please don't stand inside the park and chat with your friends or with your fans, with the other team, whatever it is you're going to do. Even in yellow, there's going to be a limit to the number of people that we can have technically inside the complex, and we can separate fields as different things. But if people are congregating and they're chatting after their games are over, they're really going to come down hard on us. So get out of the dugout, get out of the park. If you're moving fields, playing double headers, and you're in between games, please do it quickly and try to avoid contact with the other team. Do your best to know whether you're home team or visitors, and make sure you know which dugout you're going to. Normally, I don't care what dugout you take, but for this year, to make it easier and smooth so you know where you're going in between games, I'd like to designate third base dugout as home, first base dugout as visitors. If we can do that, and you know where you need to be going in between games, it's really going to smooth things up a bit. For our co-ed, again, 5 guys, 5 girls, 6 guys, 6 girls. You can always have more girls than guys, but you cannot have more guys than girls. Something that some teams have struggled with in the past, and I really want you to pay attention right now, is in co-ed, if you have more guys than girls, you're playing the substitution rule. What that means is guys can't just sub in and out whenever they want. Let's say Bobby comes in for the second baseman, the second baseman goes out. If that second baseman wants back in, he has to go back in for Bobby at second base, and Bobby is out for the rest of the game. Okay? I would really encourage you to have an even number of girls and guys, or more girls than guys. If we play it that way, it makes it real easy. If you have more girls than guys, it's free substitutions all the way around. You still have to make sure, to the best of your ability, that your lineup goes guy-girl, but again, with more girls than guys, you're going to have girls batting back-to-back. Okay? For both men's and women's leagues, we're just going to play 10 people on defense. Okay? However many you have come, you can put on your lineup, and they can bat freely, and they can move freely on defense as well. Forfeit rule, guys. If you have 10 players come, you can play no problem. 9 players come, you can play no problem. 8 players, 7. I'll allow you to play with 7 players. Anything less than 7 will be a forfeit. I will not allow you to pull players from the other team to catch for you. Okay? That's not going to work. It doesn't fly with me. If you want to forfeit the game and pull players from the other team, feel free to do that. Knowing that if you choose to forfeit a game and pull players from the other team, you will not have an umpire for that game. 7 players is quite difficult to play with. Okay? If you do have 7 people show up, one of those has to be a pitcher, of course, and one of them has to be a catcher. If you have 7 show up for co-ed and 4 of those are guys and 3 are girls, that doesn't work. You're going to forfeit. Okay? For co-ed, you're going to need more girls than guys. We do have a forfeit rule. If you forfeit 3 times in the season, you will not be allowed in to postseason play. Please do your best not to forfeit games. I know it may be difficult this season, but I really appreciate it if you made your best effort to get your teams there. New this year, new last fall, something that we changed, so it's new this year for some of you summer people. You can have as many people on your roster as you want. Okay? All you have to do is get them to do a waiver, which is our rule, and send it in to the city offices with your team name on it and their name. Okay? If they fill out a waiver, we'll put them on the roster. You can have 50 people on your roster. It's not an issue. So get as many people on the roster as you can, so you don't have to forfeit. Well, let's talk about a tentative start date. We know you've all been on vacation since the end of March. What I'd really like to do is start Memorial Day, okay? If we can. That's a big if. If we can start on May 25th, that's a Monday, I'm going to start that week. I will have games that Monday, all right? So May 25th is our tentative. Don't quote me on that. Don't take it to the bank. But if we can start playing, we will start playing on May 25th. All right? That being said, rosters will be frozen on June 13th. Okay? So you need to make sure you have everybody on your rosters that you want by June 13th. After June 13th passes, I will not allow you to add anybody to your roster. The whole point of us going with an unlimited number of people on the roster is so we don't have to deal with stuff like so-and-so moved, can I put someone else on the roster? They got hurt, they got a new job and can't work, things like that. Get as many people on your roster as you can, and again, it will be frozen on June 13th. Last year, we introduced a matching jersey rule, all right? We required all teams to have matching jerseys. That means if you had blue and white like this, the whole team had to have blue and white, just like what Brian's wearing, okay? Everybody had to have white. If it's all white, all red, if it's all red. You have to have matching jerseys, no duplicate numbers. Okay, for summer season, I am suspending that rule. I know that it might be difficult right now to get matching jerseys for everybody on your team. Okay, my one caveat to that is I do not want duplicate numbers. I will not allow you to have duplicate numbers. The people who are playing on your team should have enough jerseys in their house, or you should have enough access to jerseys that you do not have duplicate numbers. If you have a duplicate number, I'm not going to allow you to tape over it. I'm not going to allow you to tape it up. Our supervisors are going to make you leave the field, and you're going to take it out in your spot. Okay? Make sure that you as coaches bring extra jerseys. Make your players bring extra jerseys that have different numbers on them, so you do not have duplicate numbers. This is something I'm not going to budge on. I'm suspending the matching jersey rule, so this is something that I feel that you should be able to do quite easily. No duplicate numbers, please. Language. The F-bomb, and Brian's going to back me up on this, and his umpires should do it as well. The F-bomb is an automatic ejection. And when you're ejected, you leave the park. Okay? You don't go get to sit in the dugout. You don't go get to sit in the stands. I don't want you going to argue with my supervisor that you didn't say it. Okay? If you say something that the umpire thinks you said the F-bomb and they kick you out, then you're going to get kicked out. If you have a problem and you didn't say it and you want to discuss it, you can discuss it with me the next day. Automatic ejection, out of sight, out of sound, you will leave the park. Any other language is going to be up to the umpire's discretion. Realistically, if you're swearing at another person, then you're going to get kicked out. If you're upset at yourself because you just made a bonehead play and you aren't happy with yourself and you swear under your breath that maybe the umpire barely heard but nobody else heard, he's probably not going to say anything. But if you're shouting it to the stands, again, whether it's at the umpire, another player, or you're just mad at yourself and you feel like you need to vent and start swearing, you're going to get kicked out for that. So keep it to yourself. All right, guys, tournament. Let's talk about a few things as far as starts and tournament. I want to, again, start by May 25th. If I can start that day, I will do my best to get a full season in, okay? What that means is for double headers, I will try my hardest to get your 14 games that you pay for in, and for women's and co-ed, you pay for 10. I'll do everything I can to get those 10 games in. That being said, for tournament, I'm only doing a single elimination tournament this year. I don't have time to draw out a tournament, okay? Basically, if I get through a full season and start tournament, that's going to put us by June 15th or so finishing that week. July 15th through the 17th. We're going to finish that week. I can't go beyond that. We're doing everything we can in the city to have Fiesta days as well. And I cannot have the fields after a certain date. So, single elimination tournament, and I will do everything we can if we can start by May 25th to get a full season in. If we have rainouts or anything that causes us to cancel a night, your makeup options are very limited. We will make up games on Saturdays. Those are my only days available. I know some of you guys play tournaments. I know some of you guys have family stuff on tournaments. Whatever it is, if you can't make it, if your team can't make it, you call me, and I will not count that forfeit against you. But if I'm going to make up games, it's going to be on Saturdays. And if I'm going to make up games on Saturdays, it's going to be if I have umpires available. All right? Saturdays are difficult for our umpires as well. If I'm not able to make those games up, I'm not going to make them up. There's nothing I can do about it. Just so you know, so you're aware now. If we can't make up the rainouts, we're not going to. We're just going to push on through the season. Rainout information is going to be on our website, and it's also on our hotline. You'll have that number when you get the schedules. All right, courtesy runners. For men's, we will allow 2 courtesy runners per inning. Okay, that's 2 courtesy runners per inning. If you happen to go through your lineup a couple times and you use your 2 courtesy runners up, if those same 2 players come up to bat later in the inning, they can have a courtesy runner again, but it has to be for the same player. For co-ed, we will allow 1 courtesy runner per gender per inning. Okay, hopefully that makes everybody happy, and we're all good with that. It's something we changed last year. We feel it's beneficial. Okay. All right, alcohol. I know it's there. Okay, I know it's there. Everybody knows it's there. I know you try and hide it. You bring your foam cups. You bring your whatever it is you bring. Some people last year felt that they could just bring a 12-pack and walk right in front of me. It's not going to fly. If I catch you with alcohol, I'm going to suspend you for the whole season. If my supervisor sees you drinking alcohol, she's going to tell me, or he's going to tell me, I'm going to suspend you for the rest of the year. All right? Don't bring your alcohol to the ballpark. There's no need for it. Okay? Leave your alcohol at home. You can drink after your games. Makes everybody happier when you're not drunk and playing. Please, leave your alcohol at home. A couple years ago, we instituted a pitchers have to wear a mask rule. I know that was a difficult thing. I know some people didn't have masks, so Spanish Fork went out and bought masks that you could check out to use. Guess what? those masks are not going to get any diseases on them. We are not allowing you to check out masks this year. Pitchers will still be required to wear masks. We're not suspending that rule. You will be required, as a coach, pitcher, whatever you are, to make sure that your pitcher has a mask. If they don't have a mask, they don't pitch. Again, we're not checking them out to anyone as of now, so get your own mask. If you need a number of someone who will get you masks, I have numbers of people who sell masks. Please call me and I will get you that person's contact information. And they're pretty good at getting the masks. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to send this out as soon as it's ready and available. You need to get on this right now and get masks for your pitchers. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble if your pitchers don't have masks the first night of games. Only people on your roster will be allowed in the dugouts. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But if they're not on your roster, they're not going to be allowed in the dugout. I don't want any kids in the dugout. I don't want any wives, spouses in the dugout. If they're not on your roster, they are not allowed in the dugout. Okay?
That is a big one that I always tell the umpires every year. And every night I send somebody out of the dugout because their kids, well, we're just behind the fence. It's safe. Guys, we don't want what happened in another Utah County town to happen here, okay? We don't want any kids getting injured, okay? They do not go into the dugout.
Let's talk about some COVID-19 precautions that we need to be taking. All right. I'm going to tell you right now that this is going to be something that's fluid. We're still coming up with ways that we can do our best to keep everybody safe and keep everybody happy and healthy and playing softball. Okay? First one, and this is a big one, and I know this is going to affect some of the co-ed teams. We are not going to allow any kids at the complex. Kids will not be allowed to come inside those gates to watch the games, to run around, and to do whatever it is that kids do while their parents aren't paying attention to them and are playing softball. No kids will be allowed in the complex, okay? If you've just had a baby and you're a player, I'm sorry, but you need to find someone to watch your baby. You will not be allowed in the complex with any children. I don't care how old they are, okay? No children allowed in the complex, all right? We are only going to allow one fan per player in the complex. I would suggest that you have that fan bring their own chair. I'm not sure yet what we're doing with the bleachers, but my gut instinct, or what I want to do, is to remove the bleachers altogether and give rooms for people to bring their chairs and to sit. You really need to be aware of social distancing at this time. Just because we're playing softball and we're in the yellow risk phase doesn't mean that we have to ignore social distancing, okay? One of the requirements will be to social distance at these games. No bleachers will be available, even if they're taped off. Bring your own chairs, sit in those chairs, no kids, one fan per player. We're going to be strict on this, especially the no kids, okay? Please help us out so we don't have to cancel our season because people are not following the rules. Dugout. Brian and I will come up with some stuff in conjunction with what the city wants to do. My first feeling is right now we don't want any more than 10 players in the dugout at a time. That can be alleviated by a batter and a non-deck batter. Something else that I'm okay with you guys doing, and probably what we're going to do, is the gates to go outside of the ball fields are easily accessible. We'll probably have some players stand outside of the gates to wait their turn to bat. All right? Again, it's fluid, and I will come up with a better plan as time goes by when I know more of what we're going to have to do. But we do, again, need to maintain our social distancing. If you choose to stand outside the dugout, we really need you to be careful that you don't interfere with the play. All right? I put a lot of thought into just saying go ahead and have a few people standing outside the dugout, but the problem with that is it tends to clog things up, and when the ball is thrown over that way, you can interfere. Interference will still be called if you interfere with the play. Here's what I'd really like to see you do. Batter, on-deck batter, in the hole batter, maybe standing at the mouth of the dugout. I'd like you to have a first base coach and a third base coach. Doing that right there will allow you to have, if you only have 10 players playing that night, will allow you to have everybody in the dugout. Okay? So if we can just do our best, spread out a little bit, get some people outside of the dugout, then we can make it easier on everybody. Score towers. Okay, so we're changing things up a little bit. As you know, outside the score tower, we have our mailbox with our lineup cards in it. We're also going to have pencils, little golf pencils, for you to take. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the exchange on the golf pencils. I might have 2 cups there, one for to take and one to discard. I really want the golf pencils back because we do have to pay for them, and I don't want them all over the complex. But you will not be allowed upstairs in the score tower. Our scorekeepers, before each game, will come down and get your lineup from you. All right? They'll be wearing gloves and a mask. They will come down to your field, and they will ask you for your lineup. Please get there early enough to do a lineup that you have it ready for them when they come and pick it up. Do not go in the score tower. Okay? It's not accessible to anybody except for the supervisor, the umpires, and the scorekeepers. All right? And please return my pencils. I'd really appreciate it if I got those back. And again, I'll work something out where we have a clean and a discard place for them, and we'll make sure that they get cleaned each evening at the end of the evening. One last thing real quick before we jump into some other stuff. Because of our shortened season or what we've got, I've got some extra space on Thursday nights during our women's league and Monday nights for our co-ed league. There's a good chance, a really good chance that in order for me to get your 10 games in, I'm going to have you playing double headers, co-ed Monday nights and women's on Thursday nights. So when you get the schedule, please pay attention to what your schedule is, because you will more likely be scheduled for double header games. As coaches, when you signed up to play, you signed a code of conduct. Okay. We also have a participant code of conduct. This is going to be on the website. Okay. We have a spectator code of conduct for your spectators. I'll put it on the website. And then we have your player code of conduct. We'll put all these on the website. Please make sure your players are aware of them, that we do have codes of conduct that we require them to follow. All right? Those codes of conduct are important, and they need to read those so they're aware of what's happening when they're being kicked out of the park and why they're being kicked out of the park.
I'm going to jump in on that one real quick. Last year, you know, I'm very accessible. I don't mind if you call me and ask questions or rules or even complaints. I don't mind. But the thing that I will not abide by, and Mark and I are on agreement with this, if you threaten an umpire with physical harm, and you say that you're meeting him in the parking lot, then you're going to F him up. You will not play NSA softball as long as I'm running NSA softball. And I guarantee you that. I'm not going to have another umpire call me and say I'm quitting because somebody threatened to fight me or beat me up over a call. This is a game. It's fun. We're supposed to have fun. We might miss a call, guys. I apologize. We might miss them. We're not professionals with instant replay. And even those guys in Major League Baseball miss a call. Okay? So let it go. Okay? I have somebody's name already. Mark knows it. If this person shows up on your team, he'll have a list of it. I will too. Your team will be thrown out of the game. Okay? I will not abide by that. You have any questions on that, concerns, whatever, you will have my phone number and my email. We can chat about it after, but I will not get another one of somebody trying to fight an umpire.
Let me just tell you that if you play a perfect game, the umpires will ump a perfect game. As we all know, that's never going to happen. So, leave the umpires alone. If you don't like the call, you don't like the call. They're human. They're doing the best job that they can. Leave them alone, play the game, and let's have fun. And if you have a serious problem with an umpire, call me. Don't say anything to the umpire. Don't do anything. I wouldn't even take it to the supervisor, because they're there to do a specific job, and they're not there to really take care of things like that. I am. It can wait. I'm telling you right now, it can wait. Don't say anything to the umpire. Leave it alone and call me, and we'll talk about it, and I'll take care of it. All right, let's. NSA, and I'm adopting some of this stuff. NSA has sent some directives from the head office on what we need to do when we are able to start playing games again. There's a few things that I've highlighted here on that stuff. I'm sure Brian wants to talk about some stuff, but let me just let me just tell you some of the things that we're gonna be doing, okay? You're gonna be responsible for maintaining your own social distancing. I've already given you suggestions on what you can do when your teams are in the dugout. Technically, it's supposed to be 10 feet during sporting events. It's really hard. I can't say that we're not going to do that, but we will do our darn best to try and maintain a 10-foot social distance during team sports, okay? Outside of the complex or outside of the field, it's a 6-foot distance for social distancing, okay? So you're responsible for that, okay? You're responsible for the number of spectators that you bring to the ball fields. Again, I've already told you I only want 1 fan per player. 1. No kids, all right? Hopefully, I've said it enough now that you understand that we will not allow kids, and I only want 1 fan per player to come to the ballpark. No handshakes or high fives, pre or post game, no huddles, okay? When the game's over, give them a clap, give them a wave, do whatever it is you want to do at the end of the game, a thank you, whatever it is. No handshaking, no high fives. Do not touch the umpire, okay? If he calls you up for a plate meeting, he's gonna make sure you maintain some social distance there as well. Don't touch him. No high fives between yourselves, your teams, the other team, whatever it is. Let's do our best to keep our hands to ourselves. All right. Usually, we provide ice and Band-Aids. We don't provide any ibuprofen or any type of drug. We are not going to be able to provide that under the NSA directives. You will need to bring your own ice packs just in case you're going to get hurt, and you can go to any drugstore and just buy some ice packs that you just have to squeeze and break in order to get cold. You'll be responsible for bringing your own Band-Aids while this is going on. We can't give any of that stuff to you, so please don't ask, because I just can't do it. I want to, but I can't. Once the COVID restrictions are lifted, I'm happy to do that again. It's something that I think it's important that we are or it's good that we're able to do, but I just can't do it right now. I would suggest you bring hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes as well. I can tell you right now that my supervisors aren't going to be cleaning the dugouts in between innings. They're not going to be going where everybody's touched, because honestly, if we did that, we just have to shut down between every game and just spray everything down and wait for it to dry, and that's not something we can do. Bring your own hand wipes, bring your hand sanitizer, feel free to use them whenever you need to the best of your abilities and to whatever you think will keep you safe, but you got to bring them yourself. I really need you guys to clean your dugouts after you're done, okay? Some of you are messy. I'm sorry. You're messy. You leave your drink all over the place. You just drop stuff on the ground. Please, there's garbage cans in the dugout. At least just throw them in the garbage can. That's all I ask. Clean up after yourself. That being said, we are going to institute some restrictions on some things. No gum. I'm sorry. We're not going to allow gum at this time. No seeds. I know that's something that you guys like a lot. This isn't going to be a permanent thing for the seeds. But as of now, we don't want you spitting anything. So no gum and no seeds. We don't allow tobacco at our complex. I know some of you like to come and chew because I see it on the ground all the time. Please don't bring any chew, or don't chew while you're playing, because I don't want that on the ground. All that does is put other people in danger of contracting the COVID virus if you have it. Please, no chew, no gum, no seeds. And I know that spitting is a part of baseball, that some people feel that they need to spit, just to spit. Please, do your best to refrain from spitting at this time. You don't know when the wind's going to kick up and blow it back in someone's face, right? No seeds, no gum, no chew. We don't allow tobacco products in our parks anyway, and no spitting. If you choose to, you may wear a mask while you're a face covering while you're playing. That's going to be up to you, all right? We're not going to require you to do that. You may also wear gloves with the exception of the pitcher. The pitcher may not wear gloves on their hands while they're pitching, okay? But if you want to wear a mask and gloves to come and play, please feel free to do so. Nobody's going to stop you if that's what helps you feel safe. We're happy to have you do that. But we will not provide masks or gloves for any players.
Guys, first off, we know this situation sucks, okay? Nobody is having fun with this. This is not what we want to do. Okay, we want to get out, play softball like we always have a great time, enjoy our evenings out there together. Okay? With that being said, cities have restrictions. States have restrictions. NSA Softball, the owner and the head office back in Kentucky, has restrictions. Okay? Restrictions for me as a director, restrictions for Mark and Jeremy in Payson and Courtney in Saratoga Springs and other places. They have restrictions for them as well. Teams have restrictions. Okay? He's covered a couple of them. Okay? Umpires have another list. Okay? We have tons of stuff that we're trying to do to be able to get you guys out there playing ball. Okay? So what Mark has been saying, please just abide with us, help you get back on the field. Okay? With that being said, there are things, okay, that we have to do. Okay? Like he said, the spitting thing. Okay? Trust me, I played baseball my entire life. It's part of the game. Sunflower seeds in one cheek and just, spitting. But we can't do that right now. They're asking for it because, unfortunately, NSA Softball, like any other entity, has insurance, okay? And we've had several phone calls as every state director at the home office the last several weeks. We have another one this Friday hoping for more new directives. Okay, so far, this is what we've got. If anything changes, we will let you guys know as soon as we can, okay? But until that happens, these are the rules and regulations that have been set forth. Okay, and in order for us as NSA to help provide umpires and sanctioning for the cities, the insurance company says these are the rules and regulations that we have set forth so you guys can get back out there. Okay, like I say, there's any questions, any concerns. I know it sucks. My wife plays softball. If we play co-ed together, we can't bring our kid out. Okay, we know some parents come out and watch you play softball, and we love that. But, pick your mom or your dad that night. Let them know which one's the favorite. Whatever. Okay, but I know it sucks. Please just work with us on this so we can get to the diamonds and get this thing out as quickly as possible and get back to normal ball and handshakes and butt slaps and all the other fun stuff that go along with the softball game that we all love so much. If there's anything that Mark or I can do, please call us. Concerns, comments, questions, anything that you think that could make it easier, we're always available. Okay, Mark and I talk nonstop. Seriously, we talk, half hour, 45 minutes a day sometimes because we're trying to get you guys back on the field. Let us know what we can do for you.
Okay. I think that's about it. Again, if I can, I'm going to start Memorial Day on the 25th. If I can't, well, we'll see what we can do. We're going to do everything we can to get softball and Spanish Fork this year. We're working really hard to make sure that happens and still stay under the state guidelines. Okay, please bear with us. Again, if you have questions, concerns, call me. I'm happy to talk to you, happy to do whatever I can do to help you out. All right? I think that's about all I have for you guys who are I'm going to call them our Monday through Thursday leagues. Okay? That's it. That's all I have for you. You can stop right now and you can leave.
1 second.
Okay, one more thing.
One more word, okay? Guys, I'm on all the softball forums too. I hear y'all. I read your comments. Guys, what the cities are doing, their hands are tied, okay? They are doing what their directives are, okay? So I know a lot of us are going to get online. We're going to gripe. We're going to complain. We're going to say, F Spanish Fork for their rules and regulations, or F Payson, or whatever it is. Guys, I can tell you for a surety that I talked to Mark, and it's nothing about, we're going to cancel softball. It's what can we do to get you guys on the softball field again, okay? Please, back him up. Back up the other cities, back up the other associations. I don't care if you play USSSA, ASA, AFA, NSA, whatever you play. We love this game enough. We want you out on the softball field, okay? And so help us to get this back up and running, okay? Support them. You know, if the rules say bring one and you bring out two and you're gonna get online and complain, don't complain, okay? Call me and gripe to me for 45 minutes, I'll listen to you, okay? I'll agree, we'll say it sucks, and we'll move on from there. Just let's help build this back up as a softball community, as a community at large, because we all wanna get back out there and get back to life as normal as well.
So that finishes up our Monday through Thursday leagues, okay? If you play in our Friday night Sober Softball League, stick around for a minute. I'm gonna go over a few things that you guys need to know for when we start. We are using similar, not the same, similar rules to what Eagle Mountain used last year, okay? I've taken their rules and I've just added a couple of things or taken away a couple things from the rules that they had. I'll tell you right now that you are going to be required to abide by all of our rules. That means if you want a person to play in our league, they have to have a waiver. This was non-negotiable when I talked to Brian about this, and he agreed with it. Brian Eggleston, not Brian, okay? I know in the past you guys have been pretty fluid. I'm still going to allow you to be fluid, okay? You will have to have a waiver in order to play and be on a roster. If you're not, and I catch you, I'm going to kick you out and I'm going to forfeit that game. Okay? It's not a difficult thing to do. You have to have that done a day before you play. Please, make sure you get that stuff in so we can get you guys playing. All right? I'm going to let Brian and the board, the Sober Softball Board, handle a lot of stuff as far as how you're going to be allowed to play. I know last year they allowed 6 males and 4 females. I'm fine with that for this league. I know that there's probably more men in the Sober Softball program than there are women. So, 6 men, 4 women, I'm totally fine with that. You can play with a minimum of 8 players. You have to have 5 men and 3 women, or, again, more women than men. All right? Run rule is going to stay the same as what we had, 20 after 3, 15 after 4, 10 after 5. We're going to use that. One change we have made this year, another change I guess I should say, is to the home run rule. We're going to stay with what all our other leagues are doing. You get 3 home runs per game. Anything after that is an out. Plain and simple. I'm not going to change it. We're not going to play the one-up rule. 3 home runs per game and you're out. There's some other stuff that I'll talk to Brian about, and I might make some changes. This is, again, it's going to be very fluid. All right? I know in Eagle Mountain you guys played 50-minute games. We play 55-minute games. We want you in and we want you out, and that game is to be run as fast as possible, even though with this 55-minute time limit. So please do so. For the first game, we'll give you a bit of a 10-minute grace period. We do the same thing with our other leagues for that 6:30 game. Our games start at 6:30. So you get a 10-minute grace period. If you don't have enough players after that, by that time, you forfeit. Every other game is a forfeit at start time if you don't have enough players. We're going to go with our forfeit rule. If you forfeit 3 times in a season, you will not be allowed to play in postseason tournament. Okay? It's easy. You heard earlier in this presentation, you can have as many people as you want on the roster. I know you guys have specific rules and the way you do things, whether you're a center or a team that's outside of a center. I'll let you deal with that with the board, but I will tell you that you will abide by my 3 forfeit rules. Doing this and talking with Brian, he agreed to abide by some of these rules that I wasn't going to negotiate on, okay? Please don't argue with us on this. Please don't fight with us on this, all right? Obviously, there's no alcohol at the parks. Something that I know Eagle Mountain had an issue with, and I am not going to have an issue with. I refuse to put up with it. No vaping or no smoking and no chewing at the park. If you're going to do it, my supervisor sees you, you're getting kicked out. Plain and simple. I know that that's how some of you, what some of you do to help regulate yourselves, the smoking and the vaping and the chewing. I'm not going to allow that in my park. Okay, you can go outside the park and do that. Okay, please, just control yourself for an hour. That's all I ask. Control yourself for an hour. Then any rule that I choose to implement or change, that's at my discretion or at Brian and NSA's discretion. Something that I will ask that you do is that you come, you play, and you leave. All right? If you want to chit chat, please do it out in the parking lot. But please just come, play, and then when your games are over, leave. For double headers, please move quickly between fields if you're changing fields and try not to come in contact with the other team. I would ask that you control your language, and I would also ask that if you bring any music, that you make sure that the music doesn't contain any foul language, and that the only time you're playing the music is when you're up to bat. I know when I play, I don't like hearing the other team's music while I'm hitting. Okay? So if you're going to bring music, we're okay with that. Keep it low, keep it clean, and keep it off when you're in the field playing defense.
The big one is on the vaping, guys. I know, we commend you. We love, and speaking for NSA, myself and Mark will get to know this, love being a part with the Clean and Sober League. We love it. It's been one of the highlights of my time at NSA. Okay, guys, but at the same time, the parks have their regulations. They have their rules. Okay, you can't sit there and smoke behind the dugout. Okay, we had it last year several times. Guys, please, there's signs up. Okay, you can't tell me that you don't know. Okay, so make sure you keep your team in line, guys. If they need a smoke break, send them outside the park. Okay, go take your smoke break, come back in, get back into the game. Like I say, we love it. We support you guys 100%. I can't think of anything more awesome. And my wife, as you guys know, has come out a couple times last year and umpired. She loves it. She loves hearing the stories of how you guys are turning your lives around. We love it. Let us know. Like I say, whatever we can do to help you guys out as well. With rules, if we designate a smoking area outside the park, whatever. I'm sure we can figure something out. But
It's just got to be outside the park. Outside the park.
Just get outside the park and do it. And we love you guys. We think you guys are awesome. So keep up the good work.
I'm excited to have you guys here this year. Let's just follow the rules and do what we can so you guys can continue to stay and play in Spanish Fork. We feel we have the best fields around. We want you guys here to experience what we have to offer.